we live in an age based on science and technology with formidable technological powers. And if we don't understand it, by we, I mean the general public, if it's something that, oh, I'm not good at that, I don't know anything about it, then who is making all the decisions about science and technology that are going to determine what kind of future our children live in? And this combustible mixture of ignorance and power, sooner or later, is going to blow up in our faces. I mean, who is running the science and technology in a democracy if the people don't know anything about it?
All of us already are cyborgs. So you have a machine extension of yourself in the form of your phone and your computer and all your applications. You are already superhuman. But by far, you have more power, more capability than the President of the United States had 30 years ago. If you have an internet link, you have an oracle of wisdom. You can communicate to millions of people. You can communicate to the rest of Earth instantly. These are magical powers that didn't exist not that long ago. So everyone is already superhuman.
Technocracy, a utopia of the flesh. Introduction. You will not be merely servant or sufferant of the colonial power, you will be the colony itself, to be managed, subjugated, and controlled. James Tunney. The above quotation is one of the hidden elements or consequences when it comes to the establishment of a technocratic society. Technocracy, as a term, first came about in 1919 by an engineer named William Henry Smith. Based on the explanation, it referred to a form of democracy where the servants such as engineers and scientists are incorporated into the decision-making process of a nation. Personally, the world in its current state is leaning faster and harder into this form of governance. The past 2 years of lockdowns further propelled this into reality to some degree. There will be more transitions taking place throughout the course of the 21st century as technology advances beyond what our common eyes can imagine. The concept of the human being, both physically and mentally. Our financing and our surveillance will all be called into question in the not-too-distant future. I do hope that we remain vigilant to the world around us and be not quick to submit to all forms of technology that are presented, because one day we will be shocked at our future. The humankind, body. The notion of the human being eventually becomes placed under the microscope while existing within a technocratic era. The idea of the human being as a child of Yahweh is removed from the thought and replaced with the man being a machine. According to Yuval Noah Harari, human beings are now hackable animals, meaning that the human being is seen in the same capacity as hardware that may require regular software updates whenever presented by the state. But this will be further expounded upon when the mind of the humankind is assessed. There exists an initiative that will bring into question what it takes to be a sentient being, at least within the scope of these proponents of technocracy. This program, referred to as the 2045 Initiative, was first mentioned by futurist Ray Kurzweil. In 2045, he postulated that singularity may be an actuality. The singularity, though not easy to define, refers to the intelligence within AI technology being on par with or even surpassing human beings. However, not to drift too far, the 2045 program is basically the promotion of immortality. According to the 2045.com website, the purpose of the program is to create an artificial body capable of housing the consciousness of humans so that they can live forever. Essentially, they refer to these artificial bodies as avatars. It is very easy to see this as being science fiction, but welcome to reality. Eventually, it will lead to questions such as what it takes to be a human. If you think this is an impossible notion for an argument, then please see a modern society where the arguments about being a man or a woman are rampant. Keep in mind that the robot Sophia was given Saudi Arabia citizenship back in 2017, so anything can happen. The Humankind, Mind. There was a book written by a man named Aldous Huxley called Brave New World. This book shows a technologically advanced system where society was divided into various classes that govern specific functions. In this complex technocratic society, there is a drug that exists called soma. This drug not only numbs negative feelings, but also rewires the mind to be productive and happy. This could be in reference to what we would now call antidepressants, but in a more potent form. If the technocracy system sees humans as property to be colonized or machines that need frequent updates, then what would be of our mind and essentially our free will? The pharmaceutical industry will be so integrated within the governmental structure in the future that there will be various types of drugs that will act as updates for the brain. An example could be a pill that activates the dopamine receptors to feel good, while another could be for focus. In order to have significant control over a society, the mind is important as it can be modeled to fix the context of the system that exists. As traditional democratic systems fade from obscurity for a more rigid technocratic society, freedom of thought will be a thing of the past. The narrative will be to work for the common good. In this case, good depends on the moral structure being followed. Money, the means of exchange. In the past few years, the talk of cryptocurrency has made mainstream headlines throughout the world. The term cryptocurrency first came about back in 1983 by David Chaum. The concept was the same as it is today, the ability to transfer to an individual while bearing the signature of authenticity and being non-traceable. In 2009, Bitcoin was born using a similar method as Chaum's back in the 1980s. Bitcoin is referred to as the first decentralized digital form of currency that still exists up to this point. One of the most significant aspects of the technocratic movement is the birth of a general digital currency system. With this centralized cryptocurrency, the government is able to track and trace the usage funds, creating a digital footprint. One may use China as the model country in this regard, as the government can trace these digital funds, which also impacts the social credit score of the citizens. Some time ago, it was revealed that crypto company FTX has now filed as bankrupt. The FTX platform was supported by many celebrities, more specifically Tom Brady and Steph Curry, many members, including members of the general public who saw this as a great opportunity, lost significantly and could do nothing about it as they could only watch their money dwindle into nothing. The above example is one of the main reasons why most, including myself, are very skeptical of placing trust within a system of this nature. As with the twinkling of an eye, wealth can disappear. I guess that is why the scriptures say, store not your treasures on this earth. But I digress. What if in the future you are accused of a simple offense? Then you can easily be traced based on your shopping history, or your account can be frozen within an instant. And don't think about physical cash, because the greenback will no longer exist. They are watching you. Welcome to the era of surveillance, where Big Brother is always watching you. This point was particularly realized in 2013 when whistleblower Edward Snowden revealed that there already existed a global surveillance system. This idea presents the concept of a police-state system being eventually put into effect. This concept is once again represented in China as certain actions that are captured on CCTV may be able to trigger the facial recognition of the system and further affect their social credit score. However, there are other ways beyond CCTV by which the system can keep track of an individual. The electronic tattoo was first introduced by Regina E. Dugan, director of Google, a few years ago, as a means of storing personal or sensitive data. The idea was simple. Remove the thought of an RFID chip, as that has now become so dated, and use a more attractive method while continuing with the same technocratic agenda. The same idea was expounded upon by Bill Gates by saying that electronic tattoos may replace the smartphone. This means a lot, simply put. In the same way that the smartphone is always connected and can provide 24-hour surveillance, the tattoo can do the same and beyond, as it is a part of your biology at that point. The biggest question in the next 5 to 10 years is how free will we truly be whenever this system is in full effect. Conclusion: the technocratic system may prove to evolve society beyond measure, but with all forms of technology, there is a cost by which it is done. There will come a time when natural law will be cast out the window, but never forget that we are human beings. Do not remove the identity that the Yahweh has given you to please those who have already given over their over self to a reprobate mind.